What's up, everybody? See, I'm standing in the trunk of my car, kneeling in the trunk of my car, but actually I'm not. The entire floor is cut out. Just hanging out in here. If you notice, the car's turned around in the garage, so that can only mean one thing. Taking the rear out and doing mini tubs. Gotta take the rear out of the car anyway, as I have a narrowed 8.8 that's gonna go in. I still have yet to build it. The housing's been narrowed, 9-inch ends have welded on it, and the tubes have been welded. That's all that's been done. It's a bare housing. But I was waiting till pretty much everything was done up there to start back here. There's not too many videos on doing mini tubs in a Foxbody. The directions are so-so. Team C has a set of guidelines, you can say. This is probably going to be a long video. I'm probably going to do 2 videos on it. It's time consuming. It really is. I've already started cutting one side out. I'm going to show you the difference between the two and how I'm going to go about doing it. I'll try to be detailed as possible so the beginner can handle this without a problem. I'm a beginner. I have never done mini tubs. I've never, never. This is a little bit more difficult as this is a notchback instead of a hatchback. So now I have to deal with the whole package tray. And I have to deal with the cage that's already in the car. And the rear panels, the cage was built around the rear panel. So I can't take the rear plastics out. I've already noticed that it's going to be a prick. I'm getting really tempted to cut them in half along the body seam and then plastic weld them back together. I don't know how that's going to go. Haven't got that far yet. So what we are doing now is my buddy just did a set on another one and he gave me some pointers. A little bit easier for me as my trunk floor is cut out. I got the car up on the stands. He did his on a lift, a little bit easier. But at least I got it high up on the stands. I mean, you can see how high it is. But we started. So first things first is we're going to get the rear end torn out of the car. This is a stock SN95, 8.8 in it, 327 gears, probably an open diff, bone stock. It's got, I believe, UPR upper and lower control arms and some no-name coilovers. So we're going to go ahead and get the rear torn out of the car now so you have more space. You don't need to take the rear out of the car, but mine's got to come out anyway. So it's just going to be much easier to move around. So let's pull that out now. The front of the car is on those stands I made on the suspension. The rear is on jack stands. Taking the rear end out. So we don't want to be putting something under here or else that's not going to work out well. So I got the rear on a jack. Now I have through floor subframe connectors, so my jack stands are really strong. These pinch welds suck in these cars and they're always torn up. So you want to move those inboard. So the previous owner left almost every bolt loose in this car, which I'm completely fine with because that makes my life easier. you go. One full axle out. Not bad. I mean, I obviously didn't have to disconnect brake lines or anything like that, but that's that. So now that we got that torn out and have plenty of room to work with, I'm going to show you what's been going on. You can see the stock tub. My trunk floor is all cut out. I got a fuel cell and everything, so there's the stock tub. Trunk brackets. It's a little dark. Let it adjust. There you go. You can see it all now. But you can see how tight this is. So you can see the lines I've already drawn. You want to measure from this pinch weld. I'm going to remeasure this again. I think I'm too far up, but I'd rather cut a little less than a little too much. So from this corner, this pinch weld, you want to measure out 9 inches to here. Now, that is the middle of your frame rail. You have to notch this frame rail. This frame rail goes like this. The cage sits right on top of it. So you can see that line goes up and it goes over. I still haven't made the full line yet because I haven't got inside to measure off the other end. So in the directions, you want to measure off 9 inches, go all the way down, up and over, measure 9 inches off the other pinch weld, and then mark this line. You also want to go a ½ an inch off of here so the tub has something to sit on. So this little lip right here is like 3/4 of an inch. I did 3/4. My buddy did 1 inch. He said it's not a big deal. But I went off this line. It's a prick to measure all the way over. So I ended up cutting. So the tub's going to probably come up to here. It's going to come. God, it's so hard to see. There you go. You can see the two panels together. It comes to almost right there. You could almost drill these spot welds out and take this lower one off completely. What I did was I just cut it right here for now. So this is what I'm working with so far. You can still see my cut lines. What I did was I cut just the tub out. So I didn't cut any floor. I cut just the tub. So this gives you a lot more room to work with. So you can see where I cut that bracket and I cut it over. Left that 3/4 of an inch. You can still see the shock mount in there because obviously I just tore out the rear. But you can see my plastic panel. It's in my fucking way. Goddamn nightmare. But this is, damn, this light sucks. Let me try to get a light. See the whole frame rail where I started cutting the factory strut. That's all gotta go. This whole bump stop, you gotta cut this whole bump stop out. So a lot of people, focus, they just cut it flush and just leave the little excess because the tub's gonna sit in front of this frame rail. I mean, I don't see too many spot welds, so I'll probably cut it out and just drill the spot welds. But you got more bracketry. This is all gotta go. All of this has to go. Here you can see the lower torque box. There's actually a you gotta cut this at an angle. Gotta show you guys here. You want to cut this. You don't want to cut into this lower torque box unless you plan on replacing them. You plan on replacing them, have a fucking heyday. I can't afford to replace my uppers and lowers at this given time. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch weld these into the chassis. My torque boxes are in really good shape. A, it was a 4-cylinder car. B, it's only got 59,000 original on it. But we're going to cut all this shit out. Day one is done. That sucks. These fucking suck. Especially, I bet you in a GT or a hatchback with no cage, it's probably a fucking cake job. This is a nightmare. So you can see I got the rest of that out. Obviously I'm not done. I still gotta cut through the frame rail there, finish notching all that out. But you can see about all them bracketry. So I'm gonna get my spot weld cutters out. Probably take those all off for the most part. But you can see, cut right to the edge of the torque box. I'll probably tack weld that. Yeah, not bad for a couple hours. So I'll probably finish this side, get this side completely cut out, everything cleaned up, and I'll probably assemble a tub, and that's where I'll end this one. So we'll do some more. Let's do some more. You can see the frame notch right here. This is where you got to cut into it. It's scary because, I mean, there's not much frame rail left after you notch the shit out of it. You got an 1/8 inch plate this now, and that'll bring the strength back up. You can see I've already tried to fit the tub in. In certain places you got to bang the floor up. There's a little bit of light. That's my fuck up right there. Cut the tub a little shitty, but you see I removed all the bracketry off the side of the frame rail. You don't have to. The floor comes out to here so that it'll all sit back there, but I just think it looks better all cleaned up, and I'll undercoat in here. I actually ended up cutting this tub up level with the floor, so once it's welded in, it's going to look like it's one piece. The tub floor, the side of the tub actually comes down to like here. I didn't show you how to build this tub. I'm going to show you how to build the next tub, but I wanted to do one before I look like a fucking idiot trying to do it on camera. It took me like a solid hour to figure out how to get that tub together. It is not easy. It's a pain in the ass. That sheet comes flat, and you got to conform it to that. So it wasn't fun. Now we're going to weld in the 1/8 inch plate in there. I got to make sure I have some. I'm pretty sure I have some. That'll give its rigidity back. What else? Yeah, you don't, like I said, you don't have to do this, and you don't have to go buy a special bit cutter. I mean, obviously you can see there's a little, I went in a little deep. I just used a regular 5/16 drill bit and drilled it until, you know, a little bit extra, but I'm going to undercoat it, so you're not going to even see that at all. So let's cut some 1/8 inch metal up and get this all welded up, and then once that's welded up, we can go ahead. I gotta grind this down a little bit. We can get this tub fitted and tacked in. You can see up here, I don't like this at all. It's not, this is obviously just placed in here, but there's not much you can do. You have to cut this, notch it around this rail, but it sits on top of this. This is your torque box right here. You can see the edge of it. You can see how I cut right on the edge. Hold on, I'm fucking this up. I'm trying to get some light. Hold on. So you can see the edge of the torque box. You don't want to cut into this. You don't, or else you'll be welding a hell of a lot more. So you gotta cut. It's at a weird angle. See how it's like weird? But that's like a shelf. I think I'm gonna build a piece of sheet metal, some of the leftover shit I got, and build like a little ramp, you could say. I mean, all the rubber's, you know, all the dirt and whatever, because it will be street driven. But I still gotta notch this. I haven't even done that yet. I gotta mark that and notch it a little bit, and then this will sit flat to the floor in here. So let's go ahead and do all that. Oh, I'll show you. This is definitely easier in a hatch. You don't have to worry about trunk hinges. You gotta cut those fuckers way up. You can see this is what it is in stock form. I just cut this. I just started cutting this side out. But you're gonna have to cut this like here. You could see. So let's see if we got some 1/8" plate. Apparently I don't have any 1/8" steel plate here. I had one little small piece. I don't know if you can see that I welded in there. That was it. I can't do it anymore. So I think I'm going to end this video here. I told you it was going to be a two-parter because it's a lot of work. I started cutting out. I wanted to record this for you guys, but the battery's died on the camera. But I started cutting out the second side. You can see it's already frame notched. I got to finish the torque box area. This is the area you want to take a little care in. I already knocked off all the brackets. It's a messy job. You can see how much metal I've cut out of the car. But anyway, I'll end this one here. I'm going to continue working on this. I'll start recording a second one Monday, Tuesday, Saturday. See when I ever get this plate. And then we'll go from there. And then I'll show you how to actually make one of these mini tubs, which sucks, I ain't gonna lie. This whole job isn't that fun. It's actually a dirty, grimy job that I keep cutting myself up on. Oh, Ivan, this is how you don't get your hands looking like shit. You wear gloves. Ivan, we picked all this metal dust up from the machine shop, the chassis shop, and deposited it on the floor. If anybody wonders what the hell I'm talking about, I had a guy leave a comment on one of my videos that he doesn't think I actually do the work on my own car. He thinks I pay someone to do it. So, you know, he's right. I picked up all the metal, brought the car back home with no rear end in it, and threw it all on the floor and made it look good. He said because my hands aren't all torn up and dirty. Well, Ivan, here's a $10 tip. Go buy a box of fucking rubber gloves, you dumbass. Anyway, so we'll end this now. And then I'll be back with a second one, probably in a week or two. I got to go down to the metal shop, get 1/8" plate. That tub is pretty much completely fitted. I just got to massage a couple little areas so I get a better fit up, because that shit's thin. That's 22 gauge, something like that. It's thin. So you're going to have your welder cranked way down to weld that in. So I want good fit up with it. Then I'll show you, we'll get the other one assembled, get that one in the car, and then I'll probably record tacking one of these in and getting it all actually up and in. So, like usual, give me a like, give me a follow me on Instagram at Racestatus. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 of a mini tub installation. Have a good night, guys.